So we're talking about the defense. We talked about the offense, Jimmy G, we went down the gamut, but I think the ultimate question, Kenny, is, how do the Raiders make the playoffs? Like, is there a road to it? Do you think with how the landscape is in the AFC, do you think the Raiders are in a position where, maybe we can get into one of the wild card spots? Is that a possibility this year, or do you think we're still a ways away?
Beat KC.
Yeah.
No, honestly, the path to the playoffs, at least split with KC. That's the first thing. You split with KC. You want to try. This is where you want to try to win the division. We don't want to look at wild card scenarios. We don't want to look at situations where, is this, can we do this to get this and get this? Go to win the division. Have that mindset. And I think it starts with the head coach. It starts with Ziegler, putting the pieces together. I think that they've done a pretty good job putting some pieces together of guys that want to play, the guys that want to win. And then it comes down to the captains. It comes down to Jimmy G. It comes down to Max Crosby. It comes down to Marcus Peters. It comes down to these leaders that are going to go in there and say, look, we are tired of losing. We're tired of being the joke of the NFL. We're tired of other fan bases, cracking jokes about us. Let's go out there, hit them where it hurts, and shut them up. And I think that's going to be the start right there. We're going to see it week 1, and we're going to see what the tempo is. Week 1, when Raiders go into Denver, they go into enemy territory. This is where you set the tone. You set the tone week 1, and you just keep it going. And I think that's where the Raiders are going to make it to the playoffs. If they don't do that, they come out flat, throw the whole season away.
Yeah, that's a good point, because exactly what you said. They come out flat. It's kind of what they did last year. They came out really flat, and they just could never gain that momentum back to get where they needed to go. And it was unfortunate, because I felt like at the start of the year, I thought we had upgraded everywhere except for defense, but I thought defense was going to be a little bit better with Chandler Jones and Max Crosby rushing the passer. And then Nate Hobbs, I thought was good enough to be the number 1 cornerback. And he proved that more, in my opinion. And it never came to fruition to win the games that we should have, or that we needed to win. So I 100% agree with that. If we come out flat, it's done. It's not going to come back, because that's exactly what happened last year.
Exactly.
And I think we can agree too. It's not just, let's go for the division, but it's also some of the smaller steps to get to those wins, like play defense, prevent scoring. When you have a lead, you got to protect it. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Raiders were one of the bottom teams when it came to protecting a lead. And I think they had like 4 blown leads that were 10 plus points. So just having games like that where we protect the lead, we don't give it up, and then we, play tough all the way through. If last season, had we had some of these games fall our way, we're talking about a different scenario, because I think we were good enough to get into the wild card or even in the playoffs. I think we were that good. But I think this year too, the defense is going to be the big anchor, because we got to see what this offense is going to look like now with Jimmy G, now that he's kind of coming back, and Devontae Adams, who we all know is the best wide receiver right now in the game. And again, we just talked about all the pieces that they have. So I'm curious to see if, like in what you pointed out earlier, Kenny, if Patrick Graham gets all these pieces in there, if he can get that defense to kind of hunker down and bend but don't break, protect the lead, and then also create some turnovers too, because that would really help the offense and take some of the pressure off when it comes to those games where maybe they're not moving the ball so well. So I think this is going to be a very interesting season for the Raiders. And, I still am tapering expectations. I'm going to be honest, but I think if there's ever a little bit of some optimism, a little bit's not going to hurt, especially with all that we were just talking about, with the players and, the rookies we have coming in, especially.